James with OnlineCarShow. Well, I finally decided to pull the trigger on direct drive for the sim racing rig. So without hesitation, let's get this video started. Alright, direct drive, so let's get into it. Well, as y'all know, I was using a Thrustmaster before, which is a belt-driven system. It did serve its purpose, but was a little weak. And just for those that don't know, there are, I guess, 3 basic sim racing hub setups you can go with. Lowest category, I guess you could call it, would be a gear-driven. That's going to be your Logitechs, the G29s, 920s, whatever they're called. For their price, they're really good. They serve a purpose. They get you racing with an actual wheel. They do have force feedback, which is nice. You get some buttons. Going up from there, you've got belt driven. This is, I think, Thrustmaster may be the only belt driven. I'm probably wrong on that, but put in the comments below if y'all know another belt driven. It's kind of the middle of the field, but they're a lot smoother in the way when you turn the wheel. That belt is going to add a little more cushion to the gear, so it gives you a little bit more realistic feel, but they just aren't very powerful. And then you go a step up from there and you get into direct drive, where the motor is directly connected to the steering wheel. There's no gears in between, there's no belts in between. You have a direct connection to that motor, and any slide or big force feedback you're going to feel directly. So direct drive is the way to go, but the prices go up accordingly too. And they do have lower end direct drives. If that is another option, I probably could have gone with. It is a little bit more than the Thrustmasters once you consider pedals, the smaller direct drive unit, a steering wheel. So let's move on from there. Which direct drive system did I go with and why? Of course, I went with Moza Racing, and it was an easy choice for many reasons. I'm going to go over that right now. One being that they had the type of wheel I was looking for. They have a good mid-range wheel. This is an R16, so it fits the bill perfectly. I'm needing somewhere between 8 and 12 Newton meters is kind of where I'd like to race for GT and open wheel. So this being a 16, I've got a little bit more on the table if I ever need it. The smaller ones I think stop, 8, 9 Newton meters, which just wasn't quite enough for what I'm needing. So the mid-range worked out perfectly. Moza had that, so that put them a check mark right there. There's also other companies out there that have something similar and similar prices. The cheaper of which, well, I thought was VRS. They had excellent customer feedback. I emailed them, they emailed me back immediately. Their system was $750 for the base box, but it doesn't have any they don't have any steering wheels, so you've got to buy another company's steering wheel and basically USB it into your system, kind of like you would a button box. I'm going to be spending more money on each wheel because I got to buy an adapter for every wheel I buy, plus it's going to be USB connected with a wire, which, why do I need a wire in today's world? So that kind of knocked the VRS off the list, even though I heard really good things from many people about the force feedback and how the VRS is. So I'm not going to knock it at all. That's just the only reason it lost in this category. We'll move on from there. Simcube, I think, and SimMagic, I heard really good things about as well. Don't know if I ever contacted them, so I can't say anything about their feedback or return customer service, but the reason they got knocked off the list is their prices. They're just way too proud of their stuff. And I know Simcube and stuff, their wheels are super nice and all this, but it just seems like they're way out of the price range of everything else, so that knocked them off the list. I didn't even really get into looking at their stuff once I saw their prices. There's so many other companies out there. The big one, let's go ahead and get to the nasty one. Fanatec or Fanatec, whatever you want to call it. They had the best selection of wheels. They've got, I don't know how many wheels on their site, 30, 40, whatever. They have stick shifts, they have e-brakes, they've got a full assortment of sim racing peripherals. They had 3 different choices of hubs. They had many wheels. My current pedal system's a Fanatec. So they were high on my list of looking at. Honestly, they were the first company I looked at. Their prices were decent. They were kind of right on line with the Moza stuff. But honestly, what turned me off about them was 2 different things. One is I've sent them 2 emails and 5 DMs on Instagram, none of which I got a reply. They didn't reply to anything. This is over months. I sent them 1 email, no reply. Months later, I sent them an email, just no reply. I was just asking them a couple questions about it and also asking if they worked with YouTubers, and got no response. But I started thinking about it, you know, and if I go to the dealership and I buy a Rolls Royce, which is how I see direct drive, you're going in, you're buying the top end, right? You should be getting a top end customer support. If I go in with a problem with my Rolls Royce, or if I go in, I need to call about something, I'm expecting somebody to pick up the line. Now, if I go in with the Prius, which is like a Thrustmaster, you know, they're selling them like hotcakes, I'm probably not going to get quite the same support level that I would with the Rolls Royce. And that's how I see this. You know, I'm buying a Rolls Royce of sim racing equipment, and I should get that level of customer support. So Fanatec, you really need to listen to Moza, because that's one thing that Moza just got it off the charts. Every single email I sent, every single DM I sent on Instagram, they answered. I mean, it wasn't immediately, but you know, within 24, 48 hours, I got a response, and they were always super nice. They weren't willing to give me a full sponsorship on YouTube, but they did throw me a little bit of an affiliate discount. So I'm going to pass that on to you guys too. If you look below in the description, I'm going to have a code where you can get a discount, and it also, just to be honest with you and up front, it gives me a little bit off commission or whatnot on the sales. So it helps support my channel, get you a little discount. It's a win-win. Next thing that Fanatec did that kind of really upset me is on their US side, it said sold out of everything. I could pre-order a couple things, but pretty much everything except their tiny direct drive was unavailable, sold out. And then I kept hearing people in races saying, well, just buy a Fanatec, just buy a Fanatec. And I was like, they're sold out. And they were like, no, they're not. So I finally figured out why. If you go on the European server for Fanatec, or the international, whatever it is, where it's sold in pounds, it's got a lot of the stuff available, and on the US server, it's unavailable. So evidently their inventory is different for the United States than it is the rest of the world. So that was the final straw. I said, nope, goodbye, no Fanatec, not gonna happen. Really disappointed me twice, and that's all I needed. You're out. Moza, on the other hand, I think they build the best looking unit. I mean, look at the orange on this thing. It's got kind of a I think I saw in a video they called it a gold flake, but it's got kind of a metallic flake to the paint. This thing is solid too. It's 30 something pounds, it feels like. It's heavy, it's substantial. It feels like it was very well built. Even the metal casing on the outside, it's a lot smaller than I was expecting. My Thrustmaster unit is actually, I would say, close to 1.5 inches wider on both sides than the Moza system. So it actually gives me more room up front here to move in my button box, or, you know, add some kind of dash over here, whatever I wanted to do. I noticed that all the videos online, anytime anybody made any kind of complaint, if you will, or, you know, something dissatisfaction about the unit, they made changes. One guy stated everything's pre-labeled on the steering wheel. I don't like that. And I noticed later on they added sticker pack. Some guy didn't like the fact that it was pointed on one of the flappers down here, and they've smoothed that out since. Another one was the blue dot here on the power indicator here on the hub, which I don't see how that's annoying at all. It's very little blue dot. Doesn't bother me even with all the lights off. But whatever. Somebody complained about the ability not to dim that or turn it off, so they added the ability to turn it off in the software. So they're a company that's listening to everything out there. They're making adjustments. Right now I think they've got 3 different options as far as bases. You've got 2 steering wheel options, the one you see here, plus they have a open wheel style steering wheel. I think it's the GS. They've got pedals, they've got an e-stop now. Things are really progressing really quickly with Moza. As you can see here, just in front of your eyes, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 buttons on the front that we can access, 6 on the bottom, 4 on the top, plus the horn. You've got a middle button, plus you've got 2 adjustment knobs, and this is just the RS steering wheel. They also have a GS, and I'm just kind of going over some of the really cool stuff about it. You've got 2 joysticks, if you will, that are on the wheel, plus those actually push down. So that's 2 more buttons. So that gives you a total of 12 buttons now. Actually, in the middle, 13 buttons. You've also got one. The other thing that really sold me on them, I love this RPM indicator on their steering wheels. You can be set up multiple different ways. You can custom do it any colors you want to add on there that they have below or in their software. There's 2 different modes to it. It can flash solid colors at you and progress as your RPMs go up, or it can go from one side to the other, lighting with whatever color selections you want there. And also something I just noticed, the actual turn knobs seem like they're buttons too. They push down. So that's 15 buttons total. Sorry, not 13, 15. Plus you've got the dual flappers on the back. They've got a magnetic, super clicky. And then you've got the clutch below for dual clutches, like your Formula style racing. From there back, the system's got a quick release that I freaking love. I can hear this sound all day. Just listen to this. Cool. And that just sounds sexy to listen. Wow. I mean, I could sit there and just listen to that sound all day. It's very similar to the setup when a race car is. Really easy to take off, put back on. You just grab the ring on the steering wheel, push it toward you, pull it off. You can snap it on from any position on here. It'll go in the right spot. Bam, done. I just loved hearing that sound. It just sounds good. Super easy, quick release. I mean, no play in it at all. The system doesn't have any fans in here. It's one of the only systems that's fanless out there. So you're not going to hear any noise from the unit itself while you're racing. Absolutely none. It's super quiet. They also have the option of adding a dashboard onto the unit, which I have on order, and it will be coming soon. I'm going to do a video just for it because it's really cool. So that's really nice. I'm currently using an old iPhone over here to put a lot of my dash information up. So I'm going to change that to something else and use their dashboard primarily when it comes in. This wheel, I went with a leather D-shaped wheel for the steering wheel, and we'll get in this. The steering wheel, yeah, it's an RS D-shaped steering wheel. This is leather. You've got 4 options to choose from, and it shows here on the side. We've got a RS Alcantara, which is just a circle wheel with Alcantara leather. You've got an RS Napa leather, which this is the Napa leather, but it's a circle. They've got a D-shaped Alcantara, and they've got a D-shaped Napa leather, which is the unit I went with right here. And why I went with leather for this one and not Alcantara is just for the fact that sometimes I don't have my gloves on, and the leather will be a lot more sturdier over time, and you know, a lot easier to clean and so forth, maintain, than the Alcantara. Alcantara, of course, does have a little bit softer feel and feel better to the hands. And their open style steering wheel is Alcantara that I have. So how does it feel? You know, it's got everything we need. It's got carbon fiber. It's got a real good weight to it too. And in the hands, when you grab it, it's really thick. I mean, it's thick. It feels really good. I like my circular steering wheel to be like that, to feel substantial in my hand. I don't have little kid hands. I've got large style gloves, long fingers. It just gives me a little more comfort in my hands. Now the shape and the contour of it is perfect. It's got these indentions on the steering wheel that go in. It feels really comfortable with my thumbs. And then on the back side here, it's got more indentions going on, so you can get your hand in a very comfortable position for those long endurance races. I did a 3-hour endurance race this weekend and had no issues from the wheel. But speaking of which, this thing is so strong. This was set at 60% during this race, a GT race. It literally wore out my frame. The frame was going kind of up and down. I probably need to put in a second one. It looks like it's still moving a little bit. But I had to add a second set screw both sides of the unit here because it had literally worn out the bolt hole from the pressure. And it's also shifted my seat. I had to retighten all the screws in there. And I can't say, it's really hard to say in a video, you know, how it feels going from that Thrustmaster belt drive to this Moza R16 and going from 3.8 Newton meters to having 16 potentially. And I drive with 8 to 12, but that's still over double. It's double to almost triple what I was using before, depending on how I have it set. And it wears me out in some races. I've had to tune it down a lot. But after a race, your arms are sore, and it's definitely huge difference. And I don't know if it's helped my racing as of yet. I know I feel a lot more of the car. I feel the tires when they're slipping in corners. If I'm pushing it too hard, I can feel a lot of the brake lock up. Of course, when you go out and hit the rumble strip, you're going to feel that. And their software is just excellent. You open it up, you're greeted with this main screen here. It shows your wheel, and it's interactive, of course. You know, if I push a button, it lights up on here. If I move the wheel, it lights up. Flappers, they all light up. So you can test it right there. You've got your steering angle below if you want 900, 540, 360. You've also got the force feedback intensity. Right now I've got it set at 60, probably for GT racing, I'm guessing. Once you get over to the next section, you've got the hub settings themselves. And what I've been doing is I've been saving a setting for every single car using the save setting and import settings below. To start one off, let's say I want to do a GT or a Formula. I'll start it by clicking this. That sets my steering angle maximum, you know, if it's warm lift to 360, road sensitivity, it gives you some really good starting point. And I found that they're actually pretty close. I'll jack with speed dependent damping a little bit, mechanical friction a little bit, but for the most part it's been pretty spot on to what I need. Let's see, if you have pedals, you can adjust them all right there. The steering wheel settings now. This is individual for the wheel, so this will change. And the buttons still light up. The wheel doesn't turn, but the buttons still light up on it. And then over here to the right, you can change a couple different settings over here. Here's mode 1, mode 2. This is like what I was saying, the RPMs either gradually growing or being a solid color that changes. You can also adjust the colors down here. This is how I usually set it up, you know, with the blue to green, red, purple. If you have a dashboard, you would edit the settings for it right here. Here's how they do their updates, which is really simple. You do upgrade all in one click. Just hit that button, it goes through, updates everything, reboots, good to go. It pretty much covers the software. So let's do some in-game driving footage next. I'm anxious to show you guys this bad boy in motion. I'm gonna go all the way up. I can definitely feel more now already. Feel the motor shake. Oh yeah, it's feeling a lot better. I did check relative before I entered the track. Right there. Ooh, that was almost perfect. I thought I was coming in late. Skip over that zone. This track is so different with GT4. I usually don't race Miata at all. I used to when I first started, but it's not a car I race anymore. There's too many wrecks, too many rookies. It's rookie class, so I try to stay away from it. And my times are doing. Still a second off pace. Working on 22nd. 22.2. Oh, lost some there. Now back up. Working on a 108. Still low. Still high. Oh, lost some of that. It said that, ooh, good force feedback there. Felt the suspension unload and reload, but it feels so good. You know, there's a couple of videos, and it must have been earlier updates saying that it was a little choppy and stuff like that. I don't feel it at all. The force feedback is beautiful. This is only at 60%. It feels spot on. Looks like the race is about to start. I'm not on a race, so I'm gonna get out of here. Well, it has just been a blast. I can't say more about it than that. I'm gonna get back to racing here. I hope y'all enjoyed my videos. If you did, please go and hit that like and subscribe below. It helps support my channel and helps my videos to grow. And I can't say thank you enough for that. But I hope you all have a great week. I'm going to have more videos coming. One on the steering wheel comparisons between their GS and RS models. And another one on the dashboard when it comes in. At least that. I've got Corvette all buttoned up in the garage. And the Focus, we're taking the racing stripes off. Got a mod coming for it. So we got a bunch of stuff coming for the channel. Be sure you don't miss any of the upcoming videos.